Hello everybody, this video will be the simplest comparator tutorial out there. If you consider comparators to be complete nonsense or magic, this video is for you. So let's start with this thing right here. This is a comparator. As you can see, it has a little triangle on top of it, which indicates the direction in which the signal flows. The comparator has one main input and two side inputs. And this here is the output. The comparator compares these two power lines to the main one, and based on certain conditions it will output different things on the output line. Now, as you can see, when we send a signal through the main input, there will be an output. And as you can see, we have a signal strength of 6 right here, and a signal strength of 6 is now put out. So 6 redstone lines will be activated. We can make this signal strength longer by either adding more comparators right here. As you can see, we'll also put out a signal strength of 6, which will make it reach further. That's the one option. The other option is to make the signal strength 15 right here. Then we will output 15 right here. So we just have to make the input shorter or stronger. So what if we add one sideway input? What the comparator does, it compares this signal strength to this signal strength. So let's activate this lever, and as you can see, there's no signal put out. Why is that? That's pretty simple. Here we have a signal strength of 13 and here one of 15. So this one is stronger, and whenever this one is stronger, there will be no output. But what if it's equal? So let's make it equal. We now have a signal strength of 13 and 13. Now we have an output of 13, of course. And if it's even weaker, maybe 10, signal strength of 10, there will also be an output. So only if this signal strength is greater than this one, there will be no output. The same principle applies when you add another line. As you can see, the signal strength is 12 and here it's 13, so there will be an output of 13. But if you put a signal strength of 15, there will be no output because this one is greater than this one. I will now explain the subtract mode. If you right click the comparator, the redstone lamp right here will light up and the comparator will now be in subtract mode. Well, what does that mean? Okay, back to our old example. So let's just activate subtract mode. What will happen? We get an output of 3. Well, why do we get an output of 3? It compares this line, 13, and this line, 10, and subtracts them from another. So 13 minus 10 is 3. That's why we get an output of 3. Well, what if we have a sideways input of 15? It will be 0, because 13 minus 15 is negative 2, which is not possible, so it will just be 0. So if this one here is greater than this one, then there will be no output. If you didn't quite catch that, you can always pause the video, rewind and watch it again. This was the simplest explanation I could come up with. Using a redstone comparator to measure the state of a container will output a signal strength in proportion to how full the container is. An empty container outputs a signal strength of 0, but a container with something in it will output a signal strength of 1. And the more we put in it, the more signal strength we get. And we only get a signal strength of 15 once the chest is completely full. Signal strength of 15. You might be wondering, from which containers can I take an output? Well, here's the answer. These are all the containers that you can put and get an output from. Furnaces, blast furnaces, smokers, brewing stands, hoppers, hopper minecarts on top of a detector rail, barrels, minecart with chests on top of a detector rail, trap chests, normal chests, droppers, droppers, dispensers, shulker boxes and jukeboxes. During the making of this video I realized that I forgot to mention a few containers. So we have the cake, the cauldron, the beehive, the bee nest, the command block, the minecart with a command block. It has to be on top of a detector rail though. The end portal frame, an item frame, and a lector. Hopefully I got everything now. These are the only containers that you can take output from, and all of them follow the same rule. The more the container contains, the greater the output signal strength. There's a really big table on the Comparator Minecraft wiki page that shows how much you have to put into a certain container to get a certain signal strength. Now there are two more things that I feel like are worth mentioning. First off, you can take an output from a container even though there's a block behind it, so you can take an output from this block and this block is behind this chest. You will still get the right amount of output. Okay, the second thing is that a comparator has a delay of 2 ticks, which is the same as a repeater, which you can see here. The lamps turn on at the exactly same time. Now, there are a few cool things you can do with comparators, for example this super fast clock. Furthermore, there's a pulse extender, which just lengthens the pulse. I don't think I have to explain how to build this one, but you can make the pulse extender longer and better by adding another row of comparators, which will increase the duration in which the signal is activated. As you can see, it's already off right here, and this one still kept going. The last thing I want to show you is an auto dispenser, so if we put a few items in here, it will automatically spit them out, which is done by a comparator in subtract mode. 2 redstone dots right here. Make sure these are not dots but crosses, and yeah, 1 repeater right here connecting to the side of this comparator. Yeah, all these blocks have to be there, you cannot leave this one out, and yeah, once you have that, you get an auto dispenser. I hope you were able to follow all that gibberish, and if this video was helpful, please consider to subscribe to never miss out on any future videos. It's free and you can always unsubscribe. This has been Sven, and it's been a pleasure.